Guys, it's a Wednesday.
Oh,
You know what that means.
Come on now.
It's time, and these power rankings.
Man,
Trying to figure out,
take a drink of water.
I mean,
cannot
from week to week, I think I've done a good job so far because I like patting myself on the back. That said, it's just 1 week you're on the list. Next week you're off the list, and I think it's worthy. I'm trying to figure out who should stay on the list because I still believe in them. I'm not ready to pop them off my list of my top 10. But that's my long-winded way of saying these are my rankings. Nobody else has them. And everyone should back off. Thank you. Hit it. Hit it.
This is my
Power rankings.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Power rankings.
All right, here we go, Mike Del Tufo. Thank you, sir. I feel better when I hear this. It gets me in the mood. My power rankings begins with a team that's still on the list despite having lost, dropping 7 spots. All they had to do was just stop Saquon and Dallas Goedert for ripping off 60-yard gains, and they would have won this game. They'd be 3-0, and we'd be talking about how the Saints can win 1 week and then the next week by putting up 40 points, and then they can win the next week by being great defensive football players. And they could play in all phases. So I'm putting the Saints number 10 on my list right here of power rankings. 10. The New Orleans Saints are down 7 spots, number 10. Number 9, new on my list. New on the list. I'm putting them back on the list. I'm putting the New York Jets here at 9. They've won 2 in a row.
Seems a little low.
They are getting better. Well, I'm still, again, dude, you want to talk about that? You want to play the who have they really beaten game? You know, the 0-3, Will Levis is giving everybody a football, Titans. And then the Patriots on a short week when they didn't have their left side of their line. And, they're right for the plucking. But the Jets did the plucking, which is a different. It's what we call a wrinkle to previous years. True. And just seeing Aaron Rodgers being the adult quarterback in the huddle, under center, in shotgun, knowing what to do and go at the football and putting it where it needs to be and looking spry. And then the defense has begun to do what Robert Saleh said in the post-game comments in San Francisco after they lost week 1, saying, we'll get it right. And so I'm putting them at 9 on the list. Number 8 on the list, I got to put also a 3-0 team above them. I think I'm putting the Seahawks here. They're still in the category of who have they really beaten? But you got to take a team that's 3-0 and have not given up 150 yards passing to each of their opponents. I understand it was Bo Nix in his first game, and then Jacoby Brissett in his home opener, and then Skylar Thompson, and then that knocked him out, and it was Tim Boyle, and they literally, figuratively, when a defense performs like that, they say that we're making the quarterback show his ass. They literally did that this time, and I think everybody saw that photograph from week 3. And maybe you guys have not, but that was all over my timeline. The Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith at 3-0. They're number 8. Number 7 on my list, no change. I'm keeping the Philadelphia Eagles right where they were, and they're kind of a shrug emoji in a way. Like, are they going to continue to play a mistake-filled football and have to overcome them in a way that they could not at the end of last year? Or is Saquon just going to be the guy who saves the bacon every day? Or can they get A.J. Brown back and Jalen Hurts can play more like he did in the first 3 quarters of week 2 against Atlanta? But I'm keeping them there at 7. New on the list, my last new team on the list, number 6, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm popping them here. And I think that if the Steelers played the Eagles right now, I think they'd beat them. And I think if the Steelers played, the Seahawks, potentially the Jets, they've got the Jets coming up soon. I think the way that the Steelers are playing defense right now, anybody would have a tough time moving the ball on them. And Justin Fields gets better every week. Boy, if he just comes up with a game similar to what like Jaden Daniels did against an AFC North team, then we would change our tune a lot more about the Steelers, but they're still number 6. Number 5 on the list, up 3 spots. I'm putting the Lions here. I still think they're one of the best in the NFC. And I know everybody thinks that they're not as good as last year through what we've seen through the first 12 quarters of their season, or 12 and a half quarters because they won week 1 in overtime because they just jammed it down the throats of the Rams. It was the David Montgomery show there. I like them, man. I really like the way the Lions have played. That's not an easy place to win in Arizona. And then we'll see what happens when the 5th team on this list play the 8th team on this list on Monday Night Football. It's going to be fun with the Lions and the Seahawks. Number 4 on the list, they're down 2 spots because they got punked. I'm going to take that tape and bury it. I still feel like the Texans are insanely talented and are a top 4, a Final 4 team in this league this year. Or at least have a team that can be. So I'm keeping the Texans in my top 5, but they're on the cusp of dropping out of it. We'll see what happens when they take on the desperate Jaguars. But they're down 2 spots, 4 on the list. Up 7 spots, 3 on the list are the Minnesota Vikings. Clearly, I got to put the Vikings over the Texans. And the way they're playing football, they are lights out, man. And Sam Darnold is spreading it around. They even have Jordan Addison, and they pop 30 on the Texans. I love what Aaron Jones is doing. It's going to be a great return to Lambeau Field to watch him in that game. They're 3 on the list, number 2 on the list, and number 1 on the list. You know how I feel about the Kansas City Chiefs and how they're 2-time defending Super Bowl champs. And as long as they keep winning, they're number 1 on my list. But the way the Bills played this week, I have to sit here and think they take on the Chiefs, they beat them. So I'm dropping the Chiefs down 1 spot.
Whoa.
I'm dropping them down 1 spot to be number 2, and I know
incoming text message in 5.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, they're still
good for you.
They're still the second best team on my list here, man.
For you.
But they have a little bit of flaws. And not saying the Bills don't, but right now, the way the Bills are playing, what the Bills are doing, what Josh Allen looks like,
Bills look great, man.
and how he's spreading the ball around, and defensively, Von Miller looks as spry as ever. I mean, he had the final nail in the coffin the other night for the Jaguars. I shouldn't say that. Coffin was kind of nailed shut for a half, but he still, in the game, ended it. I'm putting the Bills atop my list, up 4 spots. They are number 1 on my power rankings list. So, Bills, Chiefs, Vikings, Texans, Lions, Steelers, Eagles, Seahawks, Jets, Saints. Jets, Seahawks, Steelers, new to the list. Off the list, Buccaneers went from 4 out. Niners went from 6 out. And the Cowboys are off the list. 9 out. I thought to myself, do I keep the Bucs on the list? But then does that mean who do I take off? I can't take a 3-0 team off. I can't take a team that just won to go 2-1 off.
Could have had the Eagles off, I guess.
I still think that they're. I mean, we'll find out this week. They play each other, right?
Yeah.
We'll see if I'm right or wrong. Eagles are in Tampa.
Tough look, though. I mean, you got the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. You have 6th. That's tough.
Number 1 seed in the AFC. I have 6th. Okay.
Steelers are number 1.
You think? Hold on a minute. The Bills play the Steelers right now. Who wins? Who would you take?
All I'm saying is the Steelers win the tiebreaker over Buffalo and Kansas City based on strength of victory.
Excuse me.
If the playoffs started today, Steelers get the bye.
Okay. As you know, I use many metrics for my power rankings. I crunch numbers.
Rich, you've never shared your model with us. So
Yeah,
I don't know how.
It's true. We don't know what your model is. We don't know what your model is.
I think Mike Tomlin sums it up best when it comes to this subject matter here. Okay, you understand that?
Describes how you feel about.
Mike, play the drop, Mike.
I can't give you all the ingredients to the hot dog. You might not like it.
Okay.
You might not like it, but I'll just say this: strength of victory ain't it. Let me ask you this question.
Just saying.
If the Steelers played the Chiefs this week, you take who? In Pittsburgh. I'll even give them the home game.
Oh, Steelers in Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers.
You take the Steelers over the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Home game.
Okay.
Home game, though, in Pittsburgh.
Okay. The Bills go to Pittsburgh.
I want to stay consistent.
Texans go to Pittsburgh. Who do you take?
I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
I think their defense is better than anyone else's offense.
I
That's
think
for sure.
You made a great point yesterday by asking the Steelers defense operating on that side of the ball better than any offense and all 32 teams are operating on that side of the ball. And I said yes. Then I saw the Bills play.
The Bills' offense looks really good.
They sure do.
Washington's offense looked really good.
Oh, my God, they sure did, too. Steelers defense is outstanding. That's why they're on this list for sure at being 3-0.
Yeah, just the 1 seed.
Okay. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern for free.